Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So today, guess who buys more Bitcoin before the halving event? That's right. Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy just purchased another enormous amount of Bitcoin. So why did he do it? And what can we expect from this purchase? And what can we expect later this week? Let's talk about all these things and more. All right, let's do this. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Another market open stream. We're starting a new week. It's looking red. It's looking red right now. The market bell is about to ring any second now. But you can see, yeah, we're not off to a good start. Last week wasn't the greatest either. So, U.S. market doesn't know what it wants right now, right? I mean, we just came off from some Powell, I guess, anticipation. I don't know how to even call it. A Powell press conference, FOMC meeting, right? We just came off of that. You know, I think what he said was according to expectations. So right now it's just like Wall Street's like kind of hovering, not knowing what to do. Are we going to see another rate hike? Are we going to see inflation creep up? Are we going to see the U.S. go into deeper recession? You know, all these questions are up in the air right now, right? In the meantime, Amazon, I saw this, a couple news today. Amazon puts in $4 billion in this AI company called Anthropic to compete with the likes of Google and Microsoft. Amazon, of course, one of the big tech giants that does not want to I don't know, fall too much behind, I guess. But right now, of course, it's all about OpenAI, ChatGPT. Bard from Google is there, but just not that good. We'll see what Amazon does with its AI. Maybe its AI bot will just start making a lot of recommendations on what you should purchase every single day. Or maybe it'll just start making purchases for you because it's that smart and it knows exactly what you want, when you want it, and how much you want, right? Maybe. I don't know. Also, China, China is not in a good position right now, and this Evergrande issue continues forward. It drops 25% because they delayed a debt restructuring meeting for whatever reason, right? So Evergrande is still putting a lot of pressure on the commercial real estate market in China. I mean, it's not just commercial. They're actually in everything. They're the largest property developer in China. So it could be houses, single-family homes, or apartment buildings, condos, or big commercial buildings. Still a lot of scary stuff coming out of China right now. So we'll see how that goes. All right, now on to the main news. And that is this, of course, MicroStrategy. Okay, I think ever since Michael Saylor heard about how much Bitcoin Coinbase holds, you know, he got jealous. He's like, I thought I was number one, but no, apparently Brian Armstrong is, because it was revealed last week, I think on Friday, that Coinbase holds about 1 million Bitcoins, okay, 1 million, so reaching Satoshi level, right, around $26 billion worth. So I think Michael Saylor got a little jealous and said, well, I need to buy. I need to start buying more. I need to catch up. So that's exactly what he did. He bought another 5,445 Bitcoins, now hold 158,248 Bitcoins. That is a lot. That is a lot. In case you're wondering, he bought them at 27,000 a piece. So unfortunately, he's a little bit in the red already after the purchase. Overall, the 158,245 Bitcoin he acquired, he did so at the price of $4.68 billion in total. Average price about $29,582. So unfortunately, yes, he's still a little bit down, but he has always said, had he put that in anything else, in gold, in real estate, in equities, he would be down a lot more. Okay, short term, yes, Bitcoin can be affected by micro or macro factors, but long term, nothing outperforms Bitcoin, right? And just imagine when Bitcoin enters 2024, 2025, and all the cycles after that, when Bitcoin is $200,000, $250,000, $500,000, $1 million someday, MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor will be among the richest on the planet. You'll be a trillionaire by then, right? Or the company will be worth trillions, I should say. Yeah, so Michael Saylor is not deterred by what's going on right now. All the fears, okay, I just mentioned about, is there going to be another rate hike? Are we going to go deeper in recession? Is inflation going to creep up, right? None of these things affect Michael Saylor. He's the ultimate Bitcoin bull and will continue to DCA because he knows this is the best asset to hold, right? And basically, the strategy is you HODL and you DCA. You HODL, DCA. That's it. Okay, no fancy trading, nothing like that. All you have to do is buy and HODL. And that is exactly what he's doing. Will he catch up to Coinbase someday? I don't know. I mean, it's going to take a lot of money to catch up to how much Coinbase holds. But if anyone's going to do it, Michael Saylor certainly can. So that's the big news of the day. And in case you're wondering, well, if you just bought $150 million worth of Bitcoin, why did Bitcoin's price not go up? Well, he has said this in the past. And I've said this in the past. He's doing an OTC market. There has been some times where he said he didn't do an OTC market, but he placed thousands of trades. He spread out the trades to make sure that the price doesn't go up, right? So, I mean, you think about it. Everyone would love for him to just buy, okay, another 5,500 on Coinbase, spot market. But that's not how people do it. They either buy OTC market or they spread out the buys to make sure they could get as many Bitcoins as they can without affecting the price. Because if you're buying and the price starts going up, obviously you're going to get less, right? So when these guys are buying, they're doing it in a way to not affect the price, okay? And then some of you guys may be thinking, well, if that's the case, then how will Bitcoin ever go up? Well, keep in mind, there's only so many, right? There's only so many. Supply and demand. As demand keeps going up and supply goes down, the OTC market is going to dry up. There's just not enough Bitcoin, right? Especially when you have even bigger players like BlackRock and Vanguard and Fidelity and all these guys coming in. When they want their billions upon billions upon billions, there's not going to be enough for them, right? So, yes, overall, this is still good. You're getting more Bitcoin out of circulation. It may not affect the price now, but down the road, when the supply drops to such a low level that people just can't get them anymore, yes, then you'll see. You'll see how these purchases make a big difference, right? All right, so moving forward, why is Michael Saylor doing this? Well, maybe because he knows for this cycle, okay, we're very, very close to the halving event. Very, very close, okay? Oops, I was going to show this first. So this is the halving cycle according to a circle. So, you know, the easiest way to look at this is at the top middle is halving. Okay, we're getting pretty close. Okay, we're getting very, very close. Approximately around April of next year. So if you think about it, that's only 6 months, okay, from now. So we're right around there. And after the halving event, you have a lot of pumps, a lot of highs. That always happens every single time. And if you look at the right-hand side in the middle, you'll see that Bitcoin, you know, start at 0.001, then 0.011, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. Are we going to be crossing the 100,000 mark this time? My answer is yes, we will be passing the 100,000. And when will we hit an all-time high? Well, if you look at the bottom corner, right, Bitcoin hit an all-time high twice, almost at the same exact time. And then you go a little bit further, bottom left-hand corner, look at the bottoms. Bitcoin has formed bottoms almost exactly at the same time before too, right? So it doesn't mean that we have to mimic previous cycles, but if we're using history, it's on our side, right? It's not exact, but it's very, very close. It's rhyming, as they say, right? So if we're following the previous patterns, that means we're going to hit our halving event. We're going to start going up. We're going to surpass 100,000. Then we're going to hit an all-time high, and eventually we'll get another bottom. Just really, really that simple, right? So this may be the reason why Michael Saylor and so many others, all the big boys, are trying to come out with their spot Bitcoin ETFs. Why do you think they do it now? Because they know the halving event is right around the corner. That's why, right? It's not rocket science. You just have to use history, right? That's basically it. So, of course, that's one of the reasons why I'm thinking. But, of course, there are many other reasons. For example, why would you not want to grab up as many Bitcoin as you can when the long-term holders keep doing so, right? We're at 76%. 76% of the supply is held by long-term holders. And that number will just continue to rise and rise and rise and rise, right? So, again, going back to supply and demand, there's just not that many left out there. So this is definitely the time to be stocking up as much as you can before things get more expensive, right? I made this analogy last week about real estate. There are certain parts of the country, they were pre-developed like 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, and you could have bought all the land you wanted for pennies on the dollar versus what they cost today. Because after they're developed, you just lose that opportunity. You're not going to get that opportunity ever again. It's kind of like Bitcoin. Those of you guys that took advantage of Bitcoin at $4,000, right? People now will never see that again. People that took advantage of Bitcoin at $100, people will never see that again. And when Bitcoin is at 250,000, 500,000, right? The opportunity you're given now to purchase Bitcoin at 15, 20, 25, people will never see that again. Once the opportunity passes by, you're just not going to get it back, right? That's the best way to think about Bitcoin right now. In the future, people will kick themselves for not buying and DCAing around these prices. That's just facts. Facts. All right. So, leading up to the halving event, what can we expect? Well, a lot of traders look at Fibonacci levels, the 61.8%, right? That puts Bitcoin right around $48,000. So if you look at the previous cycle, off from bottom, Bitcoin did the same thing, okay? So are we going to hit $48,000 sometime before the halving event? The answer is yes, of course. To break our previous high, we have to go up. What could cause that to happen? Who knows? Maybe naturally it happens, or maybe we get some spot Bitcoin ETFs approved next month. The next deadline for approval is in October. So if we get approval, yeah, I think Bitcoin can pump up to 48,000 in no time. Maybe it traces a little bit afterwards, but you know, getting a spot Bitcoin ETF approved is going to be monumental, first in Bitcoin's history. That could certainly do it. And then afterwards, what can we expect? Well, you know, after hitting $48,000, what is peak, right? That's anyone's guess. 150, 200, 250,000. Who knows? Who knows? We just don't know where Bitcoin will end this time around because of all the institutions, the billions to trillions sitting on the sidelines that's coming in. Next year is a quadfecta. I've been saying that for a while. I'm calling it a quadfecta because you got so many good things coming up next year. Okay, macro good things like rate cuts, presidential election, and for Bitcoin, you have the halving event and spot Bitcoin ETFs. I mean, and there's others that I can't even think about right now. Okay, next year is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And here's the kicker. Usually, it's the year after the halving event that you get the most bullishness, right? So imagine if next year is that bullish already, what Bitcoin and the entire crypto market will be like in 2025. I mean, I can't even fathom how good it's going to be, right? Okay, so bottom line is, I lost my train of thought, but bottom line is you just want to hodl and DCA, right? That's what a lot of people are doing. Number of addresses holding 1 Bitcoin, of course, another all-time high, 1,022,961 addresses. But what about 10? What about the whales, right? Again, all-time high, 157,629 addresses holding 10 Bitcoin. So those of you guys watching, if you hit 1, of course, what is your goal after that? 2. After that, 3, right? After that, you keep going until you get 10. And then you can get to 50, 100, right? I think it's just really, it comes down to a game of who can accumulate more. That's what Michael Saylor's doing, right? Just buy and hodl. That's it. It's a game of accumulation. Those that accumulate the most wins at the game of wealth, basically. If that's the game you want to play. And most of you guys watching is playing that game. You're here because you want to make life-changing wealth or attain financial freedom, right? And when it comes to those things, it's just a game of accumulation. The more you can accumulate, the better off you'll be. It's really that simple, right? And so many are playing that game right now. All right. Outside of Bitcoin, what else is there? A little altcoin stuff. I saw this. The best performing cryptocurrency in September. This is shocking in a way. It's Chainlink. I had no idea Chainlink did such a good job, I guess, in September. Chainlink, of course, is the biggest decentralized oracle that we have in this space. What is an oracle? Basically, it's a network that allows dApps to fetch prices, okay, and also distribute information like price info, for example, right? And why is this important? Well, dApps like DEXs and lending protocols and liquidity pools, right? They need to fetch prices from the exchanges and from each other. They need to know exactly what the market rate is. And if it's even off by a little bit, they could be hacked. Okay, so that's why Chainlink is so important to space. People don't realize that, but best performing crypto in September. But there's a little worry that came out. So the multi-sig wallet, before it required 5 signatures to, I guess, manipulate. They changed that to 4. So that got some people confused and worried about why they needed to do that. And according to someone, they said that it's because it's a rotation process. Basically, they're going to rotate another wallet into it. That's what they're saying right now, right? So we'll see. The last time we heard of a project that changed the number of signatures required in their multi-sig wallet was Pepe, and that was not a good thing, right? Because it was decreased vastly, and then you had some insiders sell off a ton of Pepe. I don't think that's going to be the case for Chainlink, but just something to pay attention to. What else? Shibarium. Shibarium's TVL eyes a new all-time high. That's awesome. Shibarium is live. There's a lot of DEXs now on Shibarium, which is the layer 2 for SHIB, right? But here's the thing. With the all-time high, I mean, it's still only 588,000 TVL. So there's not that much liquidity locked in. But it is moving in the right direction. I didn't even know there's this many DEXs already. You got Mars Swap, Dog Swap, Chewy Swap, Wolf Finance, Punk Swap, Wolf Swap, Shebex, Lead Swap, and it goes on and on and on. I had no clue there was this many DEXs already, but there's just not enough liquidity. Even though they're out, if you're trying to make a swap, you're going to get horrible slippage because there's just not enough liquidity, right? But it's a step in the right direction, okay? They're proving that they are not just a meme coin anymore. They have their own chain with their own dApps, right? And they're multi currency too, because Bone is the gas, Okay, they decided to use bonus gas rather than ETH, which is interesting. So, good for them. And then lastly, Vitalik. Vitalik sends about 600,000 K to Coinbase. Why did he do it? Well, he didn't flaunt this. People, these days just look at on-chain transactions that identified his wallet and they see he deposited. Why would he deposit 400 ETH to Coinbase? It's obvious, because he wants to sell. He wants to sell it. He wants to cash out 600,000, right? And that's fine. If he wants to cash out 600,000 to purchase a home or give it to someone or whatever, it's his business, right? But I'm just thinking how much it sucks for all these big guys like Vitalik or, I don't know, like Charles Hoskinson or any of these leaders, right? Because everyone is watching every single wallet that they have. So even if they decide they want to cash out and buy a Lambo or buy a yacht or buy whatever, it will be scrutinized because people are wondering, why are you cashing out? Why are you sending it to Coinbase? It's like it's none of people's businesses, right? But obviously, if he sends like 400,000 ETH to Coinbase and he's about to dump $6 billion worth of ETH, well, yeah, then that's concerning, right? But like 400K, 600K, that's his business, right? Why is this even an article? Anyways, just wanna support Vitalik in that way. All right, that's pretty much it. Hey, NASDAQ turned green. That's good. That's good. And the writer's strike may be coming to an end, so that's also good. So we'll get some TV shows again. Let's do some Q&A. Got a good crowd today. Good crowd. Let's see. Someone asked, AD asked about Pepe. Looks like it's kind of bottomed. I've got off the Pepe bandwagon, man. I don't like how insiders, some of the developers decided to cash out, change a multi-sig wallet without telling anyone, cash out without telling anyone, right? So not a good look. Not a good look. Luckily, though, it seems like they didn't have that many Pepe. So even though Pepe went down, it didn't go down as much as I think people thought it would. 268 million, though. That's pretty low. That's pretty low. They were just at 500 million some time ago. I don't know. I'm off the Pepe bandwagon. Daniel Williams, I'm a big gaming fan and have bags of Goblin Forge. Can I ask your thoughts on Clayton? Being an Asian company and only gaming coin from Asia. You know what? Unfortunately, I hear bad things about Clayton. Okay. Basically, the big investment company behind Clayton pulled out. So there's questions whether or not Clayton can even survive as a chain. Daniel. And I'm hearing this from reliable inside sources and projects that operate on Clayton. So it's not guaranteed that they're going to fall, right? But that happened recently. So there are some talks on whether or not Clayton will have enough money to survive, especially during, down times like this. So not a fan of Clayton. Good morning from Denver. Do you think the pump is imminent before the new year? I think we will end the year certainly higher than it is now, okay, for Bitcoin and for everything else. Will we see a massive pump? I'm not so sure. But if we do get, let's say, spot Bitcoin approval, then yes, for sure. That 48,000 mark I was talking about, the 61.8 Fibonacci level, we could certainly pump up to there if we get some spot Bitcoin approvals. If we don't, and the rest of the year is just like calm, I would say, yeah, we just kind of like slowly float upwards. But will we see a big pump? Probably not. But we will definitely be at a higher price than we are now. NMCT, you always ask me all these weird questions. I have no idea about ramping down germanium or gallium, which I don't know what kind of minerals they are, or precious metals. I have no clue, man. No clue. Am I going to have Bitcoin Ben on now he's back? No, because I don't do interviews. But I have talked to Ben, talked to him behind the scenes. He's doing okay. I think he's doing what he thinks is right? And I will support him because I said I will. He helped me before, and he's always been nice to me. But he has a lot. He's a lot to battle. This is far from over between him and his old company. So. Do you think Powell is just trying to scare people to keep a lid on markets with a higher for longer talk? I don't understand why he wouldn't start cutting if inflation hits 2%. Well, it's not, according to this estimate, it's not going to hit 2% anytime soon, right? So he's going to start cutting even before inflation goes back to 2%. One can debate whether we will hit 2% at all going forward with so much money in circulation, no matter how much he raises rates, right? He's starting to recognize that he can't raise rates forever. There may be one more, but after that, it's not like he could keep continuing to raise rates forever. He could leave it high, but estimates are mid next year, you will have to cut. Because if you leave it too high and unemployment starts really rising up and banks starts collapsing once again, right? If those things happen, inflation still might not hit 2%. So he has to at some point just pivot, and he knows that. But he's going to have his hawkish tone for quite some time. Did you know the Bank of Spain approved Coinbase to begin its offering and range of services? I thought that would have happened already. So Coinbase could operate in Spain? That's good. That's good. Do you think we could get a blow-off top in 2024 instead of 2025? It could happen. It could happen. But it would be cutting the 4-year cycle very short. It would become a 3-year cycle or 2.5-year cycle. So that's never happened before. Doesn't mean that it can happen, right? But yeah, there's a chance. But I guess we'll have to see. I don't think we'll get a blow-off top in 2024. Eventually the cycles will change, right? But I see it for good, meaning the price of Bitcoin, the price of the entire market is going to be much higher. And when it's higher, it's harder to manipulate. It's harder to get people to sell. So going forward, I just see that, Yeah, we'll still have our halving cycles, but the bottoms will be much higher and the tops will be much higher too. Eventually, the tops won't be that high anymore either because it's just so expensive to buy a single Bitcoin. But, you know, I see it as a good thing, the market maturing. And once it does, it's just going to be way higher. The prices will be way higher than it is now. Did the show Billions start off slow and then pick up? Are you talking about season 1? I thought season 1 picked up pretty quickly. I got addicted to that show really fast. So, I don't know. If you're asking that because you think it's kind of slow, I don't know. I think the cat and mouse game started really quick. The kicker is usually the season finales. The season finales for Billions are awesome. Like, you have a big double cross or a big thing that, you know, you can't anticipate. Barclays announces plans to shut down thousands of Britain's bank accounts. We have been debanked. Why? Why are they doing that, though? I missed that article. I don't know why they're doing it. Why do people tend to buy when the price is going up? Because people want, I guess, validation. Okay? So you think about it. It's human nature to follow because it reassures you that you're not the only one doing it, right? It reassures you that you're not crazy. So, you know, people follow the herd. So why do people buy when things are going up? Because they see everyone else doing it, and they see or they hear everyone saying that they're making a lot of money. So they're like, okay, this must be the thing. This must be what everyone is doing. This is a sure thing. Let me jump in while, you know, Bitcoin's going up or while anything's going up, right? But when the herd is saying sell, 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 when they're hearing everyone else saying, well, it's time to get out, or I'm selling because I can't take it, or I'm selling because I hear this and that, right? Again, that's when the herd follows and people sell, right? But the smart investors, the smart people, know that, you know, you don't want to always follow the herd. You want to go against what the herd is saying. So if they're saying sell, that's when you buy, right? So it's part of human psychology, I guess, and part of knowing how to invest. And I'm not saying it's easy to identify, and I'm not saying it's easy to control your emotions, and it's probably the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing to do. It actually, selling on the way up is harder than buying on the way down. Think about that. When FOMO kicks in, no one wants to sell. No one wants to take profits because of greed, because people think it's going to go up forever, right? So that's why I came with this new strategy. Keep 20, 25, 30% in cash. So as the market recovers, you're going to notice that your crypto portfolio, of course, is going up, and your cash pile percentage is going to start shrinking. And when that happens, good indication or a good reminder to you that you should sell and keep that cash pile, again, at that 25, 30% cash. Then you'll be fine, right? So if things come down again, you'll have money to DCA. DJ Morales says, I call it sheep mentality. Yeah, sheep mentality, herd mentality, whatever. Most people like to follow what other people are doing. That's just how life is. No, I'm not into ICP. I don't think I could get into ICP. DZ Structive. I'm about 1% cash. See, when you're 1% cash and you're 99%, I'm assuming in crypto, that may lead to problems. Because when let's say the market turns down again, then you can't buy back in. And then it's gonna make you hate yourself. And because of it, it's gonna make you second guess yourself going forward. Because you don't want to be stuck in that situation, right? So you got to figure out how to build up that cash file. You could either by taking profits once we go up, or you could, whatever your income is, take some out, set it aside, right? Disposable income that you could use to invest, or go do some side hustles. I've been talking about this. Throughout my life, I've always figured out how to buy and sell, arbitrage, trade, just goods, things that people want, right? I've been doing that for a long time, and it helped me get through some periods when I had no money. In fact, I had negative money, a lot of debt because of the previous recessions before I was really broke, right? And the only way I got through it, besides working, is to do a lot of these side hustles. Like, I still remember, clear as day, the first iPhone came out, right? 2007. In the U.S., they allowed you, AT&T, I was at AT&T at the time, but AT&T allows you to buy the iPhone without having a contract. But they didn't like it. They wanted you to get a contract. But you could have bought the phone off contract. I think at the time it was like $500 or $600 a piece, right? But, I was figuring out how to jailbreak them and put in the Cydia app store, right? So I was going to all the AT&T stores around me, acquiring as many iPhones as I can, and I was reselling them, and I sold them for like $1,000 a piece. So I was doubling my money on basically every single one, and I was doing that for a long time until they stopped the jailbreak and stuff like that. That's just one example, right? That's just one example. I've flipped Dell computers before. I've done things randomly where I pick up stuff from some online vendor and resold it on eBay. I've done that for a long time. And you can make some serious money by doing it. So it's just a matter of you want to put time and effort into it. You could do it with garage sales. You could do it with cars. You could do it with jewelry. You could do it with books. It's harder with books. It's much easier to do it with electronic stuff, right? You could do it with anything, really. You just had to put some time and effort into it. A lot of people do drop shipping as well, but I hear drop shipping is really difficult. Yeah, so got off topic there. Algo is massively down. Do you think there's a chance it could return to $1 in 2025? What is Algo at? $1. $1 is only 10x. Can you do 10x? Yes. Yes. If you're asking for 100x, no. 10x, sure. Man, Algo debuted at $3 back in July of 2020. In 2021, 2022, it only hit about 250, so it did not make a new high. But can it get back to $1 or even back to 250? I mean, I like to think almost every single crypto, the good ones, will get back to their previous 2021 high. So that means Algo has to go up 25x almost to be able to do so. Now, Algo has gone through some major things, right? They're still somewhat declared as a security by the SEC. Their main founders, CEO, left. Their biggest DEX, AlgoFi, was voluntarily shutting down because they ran out of funds. So there's a lot of problems that has happened in the last few years. Can they still come back up? Yeah, I mean, they still have good technology. That has not changed. As long as they continue to draw in new dApps, you know, they could be saved. But right now, they're just not looking too good because of all those reasons. And there's probably more I forgot, too. They were the official partner of the World Cup, the official NFT partner, and that did nothing for them. I didn't even hear anything about that. And that was big news, too. Michael Cash says, I collect first edition of signed books. That's pretty tough to get first editions. I mean, obviously for the new ones, not so much. But the old ones, yeah, I mean, some of them are worth so much. I've always heard of these stories, and I don't know how true it is, that a lot of people, especially like once people pass away, people's families just like donate all the books to like Goodwill or something. So I've heard stories where if you rumble through like the book section, sometimes you come across like a first edition, and sometimes you find like money stashed in between the pages because that's what people did, I guess, back in the day. So you hear about a lot of stories like that. I've never found a first edition, nor have I ever found money in those books, but it has happened to people before. Switch lanes. I'm not allowed to upload the latest episode of Next Crypto Gem anymore. So you have to go to distro.tv to watch. All right, guys. To conclude, Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy just bought a ton more Bitcoin, and he's never going to stop. He's going to continue to do it. He's going to DCA over the long haul, and maybe one day he's going to catch up to Satoshi or Coinbase, right? I think that's the game, to accumulate as much as possible within the shortest amount of time, right? That's the game we're all playing right now, and Michael Saylor is winning. So stay strong, my friends. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.